welcome to day 12 of National Podcast Post Month here on the Spotlight with Ben Beck, which would be me, Ben Beck. This one is Curtis Armstrong, which we were very excited to get Curtis on the podcast. I've been a fan of Curtis's for a long time. Curtis, who you would know most notably, most likely as Booger from the Revenge of the Nerds movies, if you're an 80s kid like me. But if you're not, you might know him more as the Metatron from Supernatural. Curtis was a great interview. He was a conversation. He was on at the time to promote a show called Heistin, which was at the time Amazon was doing this thing where they would put up pilots or 2 or 3 episodes to 3 or 4 new shows, and they let the audience decide. And unfortunately, Heistin wasn't one of the ones that they chose, which was a shame because we watched it and we loved it. But Curtis was a great person to talk to. I love going back and re-listening to this one myself, as a matter of fact. I had the opportunity to meet Curtis not too long after this was done, and he was even nicer in person. He was so incredibly nice. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is our Spotlight Rewind with Curtis Armstrong, part of National Podcast Post Month. We are back with more of the showcast, and it is time to bring on our guest for this week. Now, I know we tried having this gentleman on a little while back to promote another project he was doing, but things didn't work out. However, he's joining us now, and I know personally I couldn't be more excited because I'm a huge fan of his. His body of work is so damn big that it would take up all of our time to mention everything. But just to name a few things: One Crazy Summer, Better Off Dead, Dodgeball, Moonlighting, Supernatural, King of the Nerds, Revenge of the Nerds, of course. And now he's joining us to talk a little bit more about his new project, Heistin, which is part of Amazon's new lineup of shows. Please welcome to the program the one and only Mr. Curtis Armstrong. Curtis, thanks for spending some time with us.
Oh, thank you. That was a very nice introduction.
It's definitely deserved for some. As I said, I'm a big fan. So
I appreciate that. Thanks.
So Adam and I both had an opportunity to check out the pilot episode of Heistin, which is now up on Amazon. But for anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to see it yet, what can you tell us about the show?
Well, I'll tell you something. This is, I've done press for stuff before. And this sounds like such a typical actor thing to say. But it's true. I'm enthusiastic about this project in a way that I am usually not. It is so different. I love my work. I love doing all kinds of things, but this is a special show, I think, for me. It's got a pedigree, which, really got my attention at the time. It's executive produced by Sacha Baron Cohen, and it's directed by Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Ferris, who are the directors of Little Miss Sunshine, among other things. Mm-hmm. And it was written by Bob Nelson, who wrote the Bruce Dern movie last year, Nebraska, the hit indie movie.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of an extraordinary creative group. But then I read the script, and the script I found so, it's hard to describe it, endearing, funny, really odd. It's a peculiar story. It's done in a style which will be recognizable if you know certainly Jonathan and Valerie's work and Bob's work. It's a style which you just don't see that often on television, even on something like one of these the new networks like Netflix or Amazon. So it's a very different kind of thing. The role that I'm playing, I also found very attractive. The story with the show is essentially, to give you just a thumbnail sketch, is that it's called Heistin. The lead character is a 19-year-old boy who has imaginary friends, which he can see and talk to, and we as the audience can see. But his family, with whom he lives, do not see these people. So they are pretty convinced he's crazy. And that's made more complicated by the fact that they actually are a little odd themselves.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to figure out how to fix their son when their son is very happy in this world that he has made for himself with these famous people. Now, in the pilot, which is the only thing that we've shot so far, we have his imaginary friends are Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers and Shaquille O'Neal from Shaquille O'Neal fame. And so, you know, we have these two absolute oddball people who you would never in a million years consider, you know, together in a comedy, playing themselves inside the head of this boy Heiston.
Yeah. Yeah, and Flea's a small guy.
And my character is the boy's Uncle Billy, and I've been describing him as a sort of bastard child of Booger and Hunter S. Thompson, which I think is a pretty good description.
That's a very good description, actually.
It certainly would have probably been, you know, it would certainly have been Booger, you know, aged 30 years. Of course, this year would be 30 years. So it's just been a delight. I love doing it, and would love to revisit it.
Yeah, not even just obviously the special guests are phenomenal, but the rest of the cast alone, yourself, Mary from 24 fame, Chris, who we've actually had the pleasure of talking to, and SNL
Chris
fame
Farnell,
for
Mary Lynn Ricegub, and Louis Pullman, who plays the boy, is a remarkable young actor, somebody that I was really struck by. In fact, when I saw it, when I was working with him, it was just I was working with, a good young actor. But when I saw him on the screen, it made me realize that this is somebody who's got that kind of purity is a weird word for it, but it's sort of like you would find in some of the classic silent film actors, like a Buster Keaton or a Stan Laurel. Stan Laurel, really. He kind of reminds me of Stan Laurel, who was a comic hero of mine personally, and he's got that kind of quality about him. And the humor on the show is unique. I mean, it's just not like anything out there at the moment. So, it's fantastic.
And I know the show itself had me laughing from, I think, in the first minute of the show.
Yeah.
In the opening scene in the doctor's
well.
office. I was laughing from the moment the show started until the very end.
Well, we've got Kurt Fuller there too, playing the doctor.
Yeah.
Who is, I've known him for years. He and I have been in we were both in Ray. We've both done, shows. We've never done shows. We've never had scenes together, but we've been in the same project from time to time. And I know him from just hanging out in rehearsal in audition rooms with him over the years. But it was nice to finally work with him.
Yeah, and Louis is still relatively unknown at this point, because I don't believe I've seen him in anything before Heiston.
No, this is a new person. He's Bill Pullman's son.
Oh, okay.
The actor Bill Pullman.
Okay.
And but I don't think he's done anything outside of school at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think this is his first. I believe that's true. I might be wrong, but I think that he is a real newcomer here, and with enormous charm and a lot of talent for a 19-year-old person.
Yeah, and I know
the way this this Amazon pilot season works is basically it's just a pilot episode of a bunch of shows, and then fans themselves get to watch them and kind of tell Amazon what they think. So obviously we want people to go watch it and vote it up.
Well, the important thing is that when they watch it, they have to rate it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That's, it's kind of a weird way of working, but it seems to be, it's the way that they do it now, so that they then, look at the end of this month, they'll stop the streaming of it, the free streaming of it on Amazon.com. And that's when, in December, they start looking at the ratings of all of their pilots and make a determination which ones they're going to pick up. And so that's why I've been doing so much press for this. It's funny because, when you do a pilot for a television, like a network or even a cable show, there's a certain amount of outside publicity which is done for it. Mm-hmm. And in a case like this, it's really dependent on people like Mary Lynn and Flea and me, who have internet followings, Twitter followings and so on, mm-hmm. To get the word out, because that's the only way people are going to know it's there to be watched. So, we've been doing that, pretty consistently now for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I know one thing I like about the show, too, with the format is if it's picked up, which I really hope it is, because, again, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's 8.6 out of 10 right now, so I don't know how the other ones are doing, but I would assume that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's doing very well,
so, but
I must say.
It definitely leaves some opportunity for a lot of cameos in the future as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the idea that they have for this is that, as wonderful as it was to watch Flea, we will almost certainly not see them again. I mean, every week would be different imaginary friends in his head. So it could be anybody. I mean, the possibilities are limitless. And we were sitting around when we were shooting it with Bob Nelson, and just for hours talking about the people that we would love to see on this show. I mean, it would have to run for 20 years for us to get everybody on it that is on our wish list.
Yeah. Well, one thing, I mean, this is a new project for you. One thing I was kind of bummed about, one of your previous projects, King of the Nerds, when that was announced, that was done. I was really bummed about that because that's such a cool show. It's a little bit reality, but I love the competition aspect of it.
I loved that. Yeah, I loved that show so much, and I'll be honest with you. It was a rough summer because they held off for the longest time, canceling us. And so we were just sort of in limbo for so long, and they were canceling everything else on the network practically, and yet they weren't canceling us. And then, it just sort of disappeared. And it was a tough way to go because the show had been doing so well on the network. I mean, we were doing great in the third season. But it's a new administration there, and they wanted to get their own stuff on, so it's gone. But I'll tell you, I miss it every day, and I feel very fortunate that in 3 years I made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of the nerds who are on all 3 of those seasons have become very close friends of mine. So I at least have that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if TBS had exclusive rights. Is there any chance it could get picked up or something similar could pop up?
We've been working on that. So far, it just has not transpired. Part of the problem is, I think, that, after 20 years or something of people predicting the end of reality television, the truth is the market is beginning to finally fade for that kind of television show. Mm-hmm. Even though, King of the Nerds was really different in that regard. I mean, it was a reality show, it was a competition show, but it was also a comedy.
Yeah.
And it was the mixture of the 3 that made it work as well as it did, along with the nerds themselves. So it's but trying to sell new shows like that is proving difficult everywhere. So, I'm not too sanguine that it's going to be back.
That's disappointing, because I was a big fan of that show, too.
So.
Yeah, I think the one, I think it was the 3rd season, the Colby who was on Jeopardy was on.
Yeah.
The first episode, I'm like, that guy looks really familiar, and I remembered because I loved watching him on Jeopardy just because of his facial expressions alone.
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was wonderful. I mean, that was part of the joy of it was getting to know these people. And as a nerd myself, I've got a strong connection to people with those kinds of interests and those kinds of tastes and those kinds of, not to say that I'm anywhere near as intelligent as most of them were, because I'm not. And I would never have succeeded at any of the competitions if I'd been, a nerd on the show instead of a host. But my God, what a great experience getting to know all of them and still being able to spend time with them.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something that's relatively unheard of too. I mean, if somebody goes on a reality show, I mean, you'll talk to the hosts throughout the time, but once you're off that show, you move on with your life. So, I mean, to find out that
I would even say that, and in fact, the people who are our producing partners who've done a lot of reality shows told us at the very beginning, told Bobby and me at the beginning, you don't talk with them, you don't become friends with them, they're the nerds and you're the host, and you don't get to know them and all of this. Well, it didn't work out for me. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And so by the end of it, I mean, I've been, they've been staying at my house. We had a bunch of them in town just a few weeks ago, and everybody stayed here. I've been to 2 baby showers and 2 weddings of people who've been on the show,
That's
since
cool.
it started.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not cut out to be that type of reality person.
Yeah.
I just am not.
Yeah. I know we're running short on time with you, but before we let you go, I just wanted to say that, when I mentioned, earlier on that I'm a big fan of yours. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. And I know when you meet somebody that you're a fan of, you can be nervous because if they turn out to be somebody that you really don't expect, like they turn out to be a jerk or anything like that, it can become a big disappointment. But I had the pleasure to meet you about 2 years ago at Wizard World Comic Con in Philadelphia. And,
oh, yeah.
And I did a bunch of photo ops with people where they just kind of heard you through the lines and stuff like that. And, but I had the pleasure to meet you. And while I met some cool people in the professional photo ops and things like that, you couldn't have been a nicer, more genuine guy. The meeting you was so personable. That experience made my Comic-Con. That was my first Comic-Con I had ever been to, and that experience had made my Comic-Con. So I personally just want to thank you for that.
Oh my God, that's really nice. I do these, maybe 4 times a year or something like that. I just came back from one in Providence. And the thing about it is, I am a nerd and I'm a fan. I'm a real fan of people. My people might be people from the 30s and 40s or, the 60s, whether it's movies or music or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm a fan and I know what it's like to meet somebody that you admire and how horrible it is when they turn out to be assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just such a disappointment. It's maybe not fair to expect, that, but I know how I feel about it. And so for me, being at the Comic-Cons, I enjoy it. It's one of the perks, to having been in Revenge of the Nerds, that I have that kind of reputation that, as a sort of nerd, founding father, that I get to meet people.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. It is something that I do enjoy. So
yeah, I mean, you were we had like a great conversation. You signed a picture for a friend of mine. I got a picture with you. So it was just, again, that made my experience. So I just wanted to thank you for that before we let you go.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
But we're definitely going to send some people to Amazon. If they go on Amazon, they can just search for Heist in the search bar, and it comes up right under in the videos. The pilot episode is up right now, so we want to encourage all of our listeners to go watch it and rate it, of course, after they watch it, so we can, we'll keep our fingers crossed that this gets picked up, because I would love to see it get picked up as well. So, we're also
if we do get picked up and we are able to go to another one, then we can come back and talk about it another time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Perfect, yeah.
Absolutely. Also, we'll send people towards your Twitter account as well and have them follow you at Curtis is Booger, which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
But we're
That's the one.
Yeah. Curtis, thank you so much for joining us. This was
Yes, thank you.
A pure pleasure.
Well, thank you very much for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. We are going to take another break. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Showcast after this.